Now that we've been able to access all of the different information about where my button 1 is on the screen, let's go ahead and take a look at view 1 and button 2 so we can take a look at the difference between frames and bounds, specifically what happens when we embed a button 2 inside of our view 1. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this information, and in fact what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment out all of the NS logs we have here. So we're just going to take a look at button 2 and view 1. But as you download this, feel free to uncomment this and you'll be able to take a look at all the different information we've been able to input. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this in twice because we're going to have to update this for both view 1 and button 2. So we're going to say view 1 and we're going to update this to view 1. And this is just going to take a minute to update, but I want to show you what I'm doing just in case, again, you want to put this in yourself. And I recommend actually typing a lot of this in yourself because you'll be able to become more comfortable, I missed one up here, with inputting and accessing these different struct properties of button 1 and view 1 and button 2. And it's super handy because there's going to be quite a few instances when you want to know where a view object is on the screen. And being comfortable accessing this information, especially since we're chaining along so much information here. We're saying like self.view1.center.y. I mean, this is a really, really long set of information that we have to understand and enter. It just takes some getting used to. So let's say button 2 here, and we're going to be, I'm just going to paste this in. And I know I'm going a little bit fast, so feel free to, again, type this in yourself, or you can download this as well if you want to just see this information and play with it in your console yourself. But let's see, we got a few more here. I'm just going to quickly scan this to make sure I didn't miss anything. So button 2, and view 1, view 1, view 1. So it looks like we got everything in there correctly. That's great. Let's go ahead and run our application and take a look at what the output looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and enlarge my console here. And we see that, again, my view 1 bounds and frame are the same size, right? Specifically, view 1 is the same size, but we notice that our origin is different. Specifically, my view 1's bound origin is 0, 0, and the frame origin is 28 by 358. So in the super view, which is the gray background, we're at point x is equal to 28 and y is 358, meaning we're near the bottom of our screen. And that ties to what we see in our console here in that, right, we're near the bottom of our screen for view 1. We also see that we have a center. We're able to get where the center of view 1 is. Now for button 2, we see that the bound size is 41 by 97, which ties that to what our frame is. They're the same. But we notice that our bounds origin is 0, 0, and that our frame origin is 146 by 81. Well, this is really different than we noticed for the frame 1 origin. Specifically, we were at 28 and 358. Well, we're even farther down on the y-axis than view 1. So why would I only display 81 and display 358 here? Well, we see that my frame's origin is being accounted for inside of its super view. Specifically, we're inside of view 1. So that my origin, 146 by 81, is in the coordinate system of my super view, which is view 1, and not view 1 super view, which is the gray background we saw before. We're also able to see that we have a center, which is also reflective of the fact that I'm in view 1's super view and not in the view's super view. So this is just something to keep in mind when you're thinking about subviews and what your frame and what your center is. You need to figure out what your super view is first before you think about your coordinate system.